Welcome to part 2 of our 6-part yoga series. This section will be a series of seated as well as kneeling poses designed to warm up the knees, the hips, as well as the spinal column. This would be an excellent starter or warm-up if you're going to be doing the standing pose sequence, which will be part 3. The only props you will need for this part are a pair of yoga bricks, one of which we will begin by sitting on. And the second brick we will be placing on the floor directly behind us. We will be coming into Sukhasana, or comfortable pose, easy pose. And if this is your first practice of the day, maybe take a moment just to kind of collect yourself. Take a second to establish your posture, finding a sense of balance in your sit bones. Using an exhalation to have a sense of the lower body sort of grounding and connecting with the earth. Use an inhalation to gently pull your spine a little straighter and taller, your chest and collarbones a little broader. Let the arms, the shoulders, the hands relax, just kind of giving your hands completely to your legs. Center your head on the top of the spinal column, relax the muscles of your neck, and also relax all the skin of your face. Take a moment here just to kind of connect with your breath, enjoying a few nice, long, slow, deep breaths through the nose. And with an inhalation, go ahead and open the eyes. Interlace your fingers, go ahead and push the hands out, turn the palms outward, bringing the elbows in, and go ahead and inhale the arms up and overhead. Bringing those elbows in, push up just a little bit taller. Not yet, but in a second we'll be releasing into a twist going to your right. Okay, so in a moment we'll be taking the right hand to that brick behind you, the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Go ahead and push up well through the arms, lifting well to the chest. And with an exhalation, go ahead and place the right hand on the brick behind you, your left hand to the outside of your right knee, and gently turn your abdomen toward your right hip. At the end of that breath, pause, relift your chest. And then exhaling, gently take that twist into your midsection, bringing that left back bottom rib around toward your right knee. Pause and relift. And exhale, then gently turn from the shoulder girdle. And look out over your right shoulder. And on your exhalation, you're going to release part way, placing both hands on the floor on either side of the right knee. When you do so, your left sit bones are going to become a little light, so we want to take the left sit bone down. Inhaling, go ahead and relift the chest. And exhale, push a little bit more with your right hand, bringing the left ribs toward your right knee. And you walk your hands forward and outward at about a 45-degree angle. Again, reground your left sit bone. Inhale, relift the chest. Exhale, gently push and rotate a little further and walk out a little further. And one last time, reground that sit bone, relift the chest, straightening your back. Exhale, push and turn one time, rotate a little deeper, walk out a little further. And last time, go ahead and take that left sit bone back and down again. And on your inhalation, go ahead and walk the hands back in, bring yourself back on up. Taking both hands to both knees, inhale, lift the chest well. To exhale, you're going to walk your hands forward as far as is comfortable. Take the head down, any amount comfortable. Breathe. And on the inhalation, head back up. Let's walk it back on in and bring yourself back on up. We'll change the cross of the legs, bringing the left leg in front of the right. Once again, clasp the hands, only this time changing the interlace of the fingers so the opposite thumb and fingers are on top. Once again, bring the arms up and over the head, only coming in a little bit differently. Bring your hands to the top with your head with your palms upward. Pull your elbows back, and then go ahead and push the elbows straight in, pushing on up. Lifting the chest well. Now maintain the lift of the chest. On the exhalation, release the left hand to the brick, the outside of your right knee. Gently turn your abdomen toward your left hip. At the end of that breath, pause and relift your chest. Exhale and gently turn from the base of your rib cage, bringing that right back bottom of rib around toward your left knee. Pause and relift. Exhale, gently turn from the shoulder girdle, rolling that left shoulder back and turning to look out over the left shoulder. Your exhalation, release halfway, placing both hands on the floor on either side of the left knee. Take the right sit bone down. As you inhale, lift the chest up, straightening the back. Exhaling, push a little bit more with the left hand to bring the right ribs toward the left knee. Walk the hands forward and outward at a 45-degree angle, a few inches. Once again, inhaling, reground the right sit bone, re-lift the chest. Exhale, push, rotate a little further, walk out a little further. Again, right buttocks down, chest up. Exhale, push and turn one more time. Walk out one more time. Again, take that right sit bone back and down one more time. On the inhalation, go ahead and walk it back on up. Take both hands to both knees, and again, inhale, re-lift the chest. As you exhale, think of bringing your front bottom ribs forward toward your shins. Walk your hands out any amount comfortable. Head down any amount comfortable. Keep the sit bones well grounded. And on the inhalation, let's go ahead and walk it back on up. Let's re-extend the legs into Dandasana. So if you're tighter in your hamstrings, the muscles on the backs of your legs, or the tighter in your inner thighs, okay, you want to remain seated on a brick. A good clue is if you can't keep your pelvis perpendicular, your sacrum perpendicular to the floor while you're sitting in Dandasana, or when you're in Baddha Konasana, if your knees look something like this, you'll want to remain seated on your brick. Otherwise, we can remove the brick and have a seat in Dandasana. Go ahead and stretch the legs directly out in front of you. Inwardly rotate the legs, pushing through the heels. Push down through the thighs. Spread open the toes. Tilt the pelvis forward and lifting the chest, roll the outer shoulders back. And then from here, release using your hands. Externally rotate the legs. Grab the inner knees. Pull the knees out to the side. Pull the feet in a little closer toward your pubic bone. And again, if the knees look something like this, go ahead and remain seated on your brick. Take a second, split your big toes open. Move the hands around to the outer heels, press those together. And then drawing the knees down, make your sit bones light. Lift from your pelvic floor up through your chest. Once again, rolling the outer shoulders back. And then release. Using your hands, lift the knees up. Take the legs at wide distance apart into Supta Konasana. Upavista Konasana. Inwardly rotate the legs and extend just as you would in Dandasana, pushing well through the heels and the balls of the feet, opening the toes. As you push the thighs down, once again lift from the pelvic floor up to the chest, rolling the shoulders back. And release, come back to Baddha Konasana, again grabbing inner knees, turn the knees out, bring the feet in, pull those in a little closer. And again, pressing outer heels, draw the knees down, pelvic floor up, chest up. And once again, back to Dandasana. Push well through the heels, lift well through the chest. Exhale, we're going to gently lean into this Dandasana, heading toward Paschimottanasana, or intense stretch of the back side of the body. Inhale, bring it back on up. Let's pull the knees out once again. Feet in, pressing the outer heels down. Again, lift the pelvic floor up, lift the chest up. And exhale, we're going to gently lean into this a little bit. And inhaling back up, use the hand, lift the knees, take the legs wide, Upavista Konasana. Again, turning the thighs in, push them down, lift the chest well. Exhaling, walk the hands forward, gently lean into this. And inhaling back up, and again, Baddha Konasana. Pulling the feet incline. This time I'm going to clasp my hands around the feet, pull on the legs to lift the chest, and exhale, I'm going to gently lean into that. Inhaling back on up, legs back out into Dandasana. We'll repeat that sequence one more time, leaning into it again. Again, push the legs down, lift the chest well. Exhale, working the hands forward, gently lean forward into Paschimottanasana. Inhaling, come on back up. Exhale, take the legs into Baddha Konasana. Either clasping the feet, holding onto the ankles. Again, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, gently lean into that. Inhale and up we come. Using the hands, lift the legs, take the legs wide. Inhaling, ground the legs, lift from the pelvic floor up through the chest. Exhale, gently lean into that. And inhaling back on, up we come. Knees wide, feet together. Hands around the feet, grabbing the hands. Once again, lifting and leaning in forward into Baddha Konasana. One last time. And inhaling back up and legs back out into Dandasana. From here, we're going to move into child's pose. I'm going to use something to elevate my wrist to get a little greater stretch in the chest and shoulder and armpit region. So select a height of brick that works for you. Some people, what you want to do is be able to get your head to the floor and still have your wrist resting on the bricks. I'm going to come into hands and knees, moving my buttocks as far back and down toward my heels as I possibly can, tilting the pelvis forward without letting the buttocks lift. I'm going to stretch my arms out over these bricks. My wrist will rest on the bricks, the palms will be facing one another, and I'm going to make this an active stretch. So I'm not just completely relaxing the pose, I'm actually reaching my arms forward and rotating my biceps up toward the ceiling. Allow the forehead to rest on the floor and breathe. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, and with an inhalation, go ahead and press yourself on up. From here, we're going to come onto all fours and do a few various different types of spinal movements, starting off with spinal flexion and extension, also frequently referred to as cat and cow, starting with the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, the spine in a neutral position. As I exhale, I'm going to flex my spine by tucking my tailbone, drawing my chin to my chest, rounding my back up toward the ceiling, taking my navel toward the spine. As I inhale, I reverse that action by extending the spine, the head comes up, sit bones up, shoulder blades in, and back and forth we go. Exhale, and we're going to hunch or flex the spine. Inhale, we're going to arch or extend the spine. And repeat. Feel free to move at your own speed with your own breath. Remember, you're exhaling as you're flexing your spine or hunching, inhaling as you're extending your spine or arching. You need about 4 more of those at your own speed. And finish up your last one and return to neutral. This is lateral extension, so starting once again in this neutral position. With an exhalation, I'm going to rotate my shoulder girdle to my right, kicking the hips a little to my left. I'm going to look over my right shoulder at my right little toe. Inhaling, come back to center. Exhale, go ahead and rotate your shoulder girdle to your left, hips a little to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, let's take the shoulders once again to the right, hips to the left. Inhaling, center. Exhale, shoulders left, hips right. Inhaling, center. Let's do 2 more to each side. Exhale to the right. Inhaling to neutral. Exhale, shoulders left. Inhale, neutral. 1 more right. Exhaling right. And back to neutral, and 1 more to the left. And coming back to neutral. For this next one, I'm going to bring the hands an inch or 2 closer together, the knees an inch or 2 farther apart. I'm going to be taking one of my arms up off the floor. I'm going to set my shoulders by pulling my shoulder blades down away from my ears and pushing that floor away strongly and turning the biceps forward. With an inhalation, raise your right arm out to the side only so high as the shoulder, but then push with the left hand to rotate your chest and your spine to the right. Exhaling, bring the right hand back down. Inhale, left arm sweeps out, right hand pushes to rotate the trunk to the left, and exhaling back down, again, right hand arm out, right arm out, left hand pushes to rotate, exhaling back down. Inhale, left arm out, right hand pushes to rotate. Exhale and release to neutral. Let's do 2 more each side. Inhale, right side. Exhaling on down. Inhale, left. And down we come. Let's go 1 more to the right. And down we come. And last one to the left. And down we come. Prepare for downward facing dog. So I'm going to lengthen my stance a little bit. Hands shoulder width apart, a little bit in front of the shoulders. Feet and knees hips distance apart. I want to set my shoulders by, again, pulling those shoulders down, turning those biceps forward, but keeping the wrist turning in. Weight on the index finger side of the hand. Curling the toes under. I'm going to lift the knees up. Push your shoulders back from your hands, toward your hands, your chest back toward your leg, tilting your sit bones up toward the ceiling, turning the fronts of the thighs in, push the legs back, and without dropping the sit bones or lowering the sit bones, go ahead and let the heels come toward the floor. Okay, extend well through the arms. Try to move your weight as far back into your legs as you can, and breathe. From here, walk your hands toward your feet, coming into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Let your feet be at least hips distance apart for your first Uttanasana of the day. If you're tighter in your hamstrings, take your feet as wide as the edge of the mat. Make the outside edges of your feet parallel. If you cannot get your hands to the floor with your legs straight, go ahead and grab a brick and rest your hands on the brick. Keeping the legs active, bringing a little weight forward into the balls of the feet. Let the upper body just relax and hang there passively. And again, as always, enjoy some nice, full, deep, even breaths through the nose. And from here, I'm going to bend the knees, walk the feet back, and lower back down to the knees. So this will conclude part 2 on the seated and kneeling poses. Again, this would be an excellent warm-up or start for part 3 on the standing poses, part 3 on the sun salutations, or part 4 on the standing poses. Thank you so much. Namaste.